Hello friends and enemies, welcome back to Happy For Now. It's time for my February wrap up. I have read all the books I'm going to read this month and I'm excited about it. I feel like I had a much better reading month than I did in January. Things are picking back up. I'm feeling normal-ish. Life is lifing around me. You know, things are slowly settling in the new house, and even more so by the end of the month. Will be even more settled than I have been, aka I'll have my library soon, which wild thought that I will have my library soon, but we will be working on that very soon. Anyways, let's get into my February reads. I did add a new stat this month, 2 new stats. They're kind of the same but different this month for us, so that'll be nice. And yeah, if you're new, in my mid-month wrap-ups / current reads, I talk about the books I read in the first half of the month and take you through them. And then in this video, I will just kind of quickly gloss over the books I already read, and you can go watch that mid-month to get that update. I just don't like editing a very long wrap-up personally, so this keeps them nice and tidy for me. First things first, I read 16 books this month for 4,147 pages. My average rating was a 4.34. I read 1 KU title, 3 books from the library. The age group breakdown is 14 adult books, 15 adult books, and 1 YA book. And then I read format-wise, we have 3 ebooks, 9 audio, 2 manga, and 1 comic. And then I also tried 3 new to me authors this month and 1 debut author. I also read a total of 9 underrepresented authors and 8 books with underrepresented characters, which is how I am tracking diversity this year. I'm trying to track like LGBT and other items like that a little easier for myself, because sometimes I get mixed up in my chart. So I just have a checkbox now, and is it underrepresented? I make myself a little note. So I feel like I did pretty good this month. This was not the best reading month. Again, I'm still in the middle of my move-in process. There's a lot going on in my life, unsurprising, but let's jump right into all these books. First up, we have no DNFs, 1 stars, 2 stars, and we kick right off with the 3 stars, where we have Under One Roof by Ali Hazelwood, which I did discuss in my mid-month wrap-up. I'm not gonna say much here, but it's safe to say I didn't love this one, unfortunately. Then for my 3.5 stars, we have Visions of Heat by Nalani Singh. This is part of my Side Changeling read-along, read-through, whatever you wanna call it. It's not a read along, because like, I mean, if people want to read with me, you can, but you go to decide. So this is the 2nd book in the series, and I don't think it held up as much as the other ones did in that grouping of 3 really for me. So yeah, it was a 3.5. I did enjoy Vaughn and Faith's story, but I felt like we were very focused on the world and not their relationship, which for me is something I really like, is like relationship focus, not world focus always. So I do think that's going to be a struggle for me in some of these Side Changeling books. So we'll see how this goes. But yeah, I really did quite enjoy these. I honestly just like had a blast reading the Side Changeling world and entering it. This was an interesting 2nd book. I liked the world developments we got in this book, so there is that. Then I read Forbidden Desire by Robin Lovett to finish up the Planet of Desire series. I was reading this for my vlog I did at Disney in the first week moving in. I'll link that down below. I didn't finish it then, and it took me a while because, again, reading with my eyes has not been the easiest with the move. And I enjoyed this. I think that this is one of the ones that like isn't as good as the other ones in the series, unfortunately. I think it had too much sex and not enough plot, like to carry the story forward. Like it didn't let you get committed enough to the plot line, if that makes sense. Like I feel like the plot took too long to happen. Like the tension was there, but like it took us to like 70% for things to really kick off around the plot that was kind of being like sprinkled in. And I just kind of wish it happened a little sooner. This does follow a sex goddess. She has become the new goddess since her cousin left to go be with his partner, and they're not allowed to be with humans. She, Nivea is her name, really likes Graven, this stoic guard guy who kind of has no feelings and has something wrong with him, and she wants to heal him. They go off on a weekend together to heal him. via sex. Hence, like I said, very sex heavy, this book. But I really like the setup of the Planet of Desires books overall. I just think this one lacked some of the plot I wanted. I feel like it could have been shortened just a little bit more. But overall, still a fun read and still a good time to read. It just, I don't know, it lacks what some of the other books had, which was really sad because I want more lady aliens with humans. Like, I think that would be fun. Yeah, so then I read Stiff by Stephanie Nicole Norris, which I also gave 3.5 stars to. This was one of the most interesting setups I've read. So this follows a woman named Asia who goes to a sex club called The Den / like strip club situation, and the experience is tailored completely to the women who are there. They get a say in everything. They get a guard. Well, she goes her first time in the room, and her guard, who she's named Kane, his name is Eric, is in the room, and like there's a dancer, and she's like, that's not who I want the guard. And they have really, really hot sex, and it was really good. Really well done, really interesting setup there. And so they have this really hot sex, and then we find out pretty quickly that they actually knew each other previously. And we follow them continuing to hook up, but also meeting in real life. It's an interesting setup. It's hot. This is a very hot book. If you want a hot book, this is it. I cannot recommend it enough. This is Black Love, and it is great. I really, really liked it. I want to read the rest in the series, but for me, it dragged on a little bit for how short it was, if that makes sense. But again, still a very hot book, still very enjoyable, like a good time by all means. It is definitely a divisive book on my Goodreads friends list, which is also interesting, I think. We all it's like a range of like 3 to 5 stars, and so I was just like, interesting. But yeah, I really liked this. I think that if you're looking for a hot read, this is definitely a good option, and it does have a good plot to it and interesting characters. I do want to give a quick content note here that we do discuss infidelity in this book. In a marriage, there is cheating that happens, not to the main character, and they are not lying. They're not like cheating on other people, the two main characters we're reading about. It's like a friend of one of the characters. They discuss it, and they also discuss a miscarriage. So if that is something that bothers you, this may not be a book for you. If you want, you can skip that discussion. It is at a lunch discussion where you can kind of tell it's coming, I guess, if that makes sense. It's when they start discussing that, you could just like skip a couple pages and you'll be good to go. But that is the thing in this book. Next, we have my 4-star reads. So we have If the Shoe Fits by Julie Murphy, which I talked about in my mid-month wrap-up. It is also in that Disney vlog. Big Ben by Nana Malone was also a 4-star read, same video. And The Benefactor by Nana Malone is also in that video, I'm pretty sure, because I couldn't put it down. Because that's just, you know, it happens. Then we have Where the Drowned Girls Go by Shauna McGuire. I totally forgot this came out in January, and I picked up a physical copy at Barnes & Noble and was like, holy crap, I gotta read this. Thus I read it. I love the Wayward Children series personally. I think they grapple with identity and being a kid and different things expected of you as a child, but these are not books for children. These are pretty dark books, to be honest with you, and I really, really like them. And it's about kids that go through portals, so it's a portal fantasy. If you haven't tried them, I highly recommend them. The first book is good, but I do think there's a couple other jumping on points you could check out. This one is not a jumping on point. This is kind of a continuation of the last book, and I really enjoyed seeing these characters again and visiting the bad school for children. So that was something I didn't expect to see, and we did get to see that, and I really, really enjoyed it. Then the last 4-star read I have is Slave to Sensation by Nalani Singh. This is the first book in the Psy Changeling series, and I thought this was a really great introduction. I could barely put this book down. I was having a blast cleaning and unpacking and doing things around the house while listening to this. Let me tell you, I had a blast. This follows Lucas and Sasha. So this really gave us a solid introduction to the world and to everything that's gonna happen. Not everything's gonna happen, but like a good intro to what's to come as the tensions build. And it was just a good time. There's a lot of tension and like suspense in this one, which I really, really enjoyed personally. And I think that's part of why book 2, Visions of Heat, suffered for me, is there wasn't as much tension in that book because we knew things that we didn't know early on. Then my 5-star read of the month was Twisted Hate by Anna Wong. This is a best friend's brother and best friend, well, sisters, well yeah, best friend's brother and sister's best friend situation happening. And enemies to lovers, which is not always my favorite trope. When it's done right, I love it, and when I don't like it, I hate it. Like, I feel like I have no middle ground on enemies to lovers, and this is definitely a solid one for me. I've really enjoyed the Twisted Love series from Anna. This I did talk about extensively in my mid-month wrap-up, so check that out if you're curious. And the last book, my 6-star read. 6 stars are my favorite books of the month. These are the books that will end up on my favorites of the year more than likely, and I'm trying to be more generous with them this year. So we shall see how that goes. And that is Crest by Ice by Nalani Singh. This is book 3 in the Side Changeling series. This book sold me on reading the rest of the series. This was with Judd and, oh no, what, Brianna. Judd and Brianna are our main characters in this one. And this is our first Psy male lead and a Changeling female lead. So that's the first time we get this pairing in the series. And it's really, really interesting how that all works out. The tension, what is going on. Brianna is recovering from a big content trigger warning here. She has been kidnapped and brutalized in a lot of ways, and she's recovering from this whole situation. So I think it's good to know that going in, because it's a heavy topic and it's a lot to read, but it was really, really fun to read and really, really enjoyable. And yeah, I absolutely adore this book. I am so excited to keep reading. I'm so excited to see them in more books as I keep reading. And you know, I'm here for it. I'm here for the ride of the Side Changeling series. Next, we have my manga and comics. I read 2 manga and 3 comics this month. I'm hoping to be picking up comics and manga a little more regularly the rest of the year now that I'm like in the new house and will have access to my full collection. I read Saga issue 55. I don't even know, y'all. I gave it 5 stars, 4 stars. I don't know. We don't talk about Saga. I'm just like waiting. I'm like on edge waiting. That's the best way to explain Saga for me right now, is I'm just like, you are going to destroy me again. And I'm just like on edge, expecting destruction. And it's not here yet, but it's coming, and I know it's coming, so we'll see. We shall see. Next, I read Sweat and Soap, volume 11. Ooh, here we go. Volume 11. This is the finale to one of my favorite manga series. My babies are married, and I don't want to cry, but I loved this immensely. This was everything I wanted out of a conclusion for this series. This was everything I needed out of a conclusion for this series. I am so pleased. It had things I don't normally love in conclusions, but this worked for me. And yeah, we got to watch them get married and a little bit of peek into their life as a married couple. Just my sweet beans. This is the kind of manga where if you really want a relationship heavy book that really follows a couple through the whole relationship, the woes, the struggles, you name it, this is for you. It is so good. So good. And last but not least, we have Yona of the Dawn, volume 34, which I also gave 5 stars to. This was a great plot progression on what the history was between Yona's parents and Prince Suwon's parents. I don't want to give too much away, but I absolutely loved how this all played out, and I cannot wait for the next volume. Also, my babies. That is all I read this month. I am halfway through 2 books right now, so I will have a strong March currently reading because I will be through with those like probably on the 1st. So I'm gonna start the month off. If you made it this far, let me know your favorite book you read in the month of February. And if you don't wanna do that, leave me some hearts or roses because it was the month of love, and we love love here. Thank you so much for watching. You will find links to all these books down below in that description box and links to be my friend on the internet. And I will talk to y'all soon. Bye.
Already packing, come with me. I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know.